Hey guys, Gravity here. What's going on? Welcome back to another episode of Marvel Contest of Champions. And hopefully, if you're at New York Comic Con today, you're having an awesome time. All I know is that wheel looks absolutely insane. I don't figure anybody's going to be having any trouble getting the prizes that they actually spend to win on that thing, considering the fact that they have an unlimited roster from what it looks like on the tablets to be able to go up against that 5-star Ghost Rider. But yeah, so everything looks pretty cool there. But I think the two biggest things that come out of New York Comic Con is the fact that on the posters themselves, we actually get teasers for two new characters in the game. Now, obviously, we know that we're getting Jean Grey in the next new arena, which will be after the two Black Bolts that do occur. So that'll be sometime next week. And then after that, we'll get the repeat arena, and then at the end of the month, we'll get Ghost Rider. So that's going to be really cool. But what I think is super awesome is that we did get teased at two new characters in the game. Now, I know on the poster itself, we did see Jessica Jones and MODOK, which, you know, obviously they've stated before in the past that these guys are not going to be playable characters. So I just think that they've took random images from the game files just to kind of throw on that poster, which, I mean, could be completely true for these two new characters as well. But it's kind of cool to see the game art for the characters. Now, first up on the wall, we see Baron Mordo. I've got the picture pulled up here on the screen for you guys now from the con itself. Now, this version of Baron Mordo it's the one from the Doctor Strange movie. If you haven't seen the trailers, I suggest you go watch the trailers. But this is not the traditional sense Baron Mordo, who usually ends up being, well, doesn't usually end up being, he is one of Doctor Strange's foes in the comics and most of the cartoon series and stuff like that. Baron Mordo is usually one of the bigger bads who usually works for Dormammu to go up against Doctor Strange. But in the movie itself, it looks like Baron Mordo is actually going to be playing more of a sidekick role. I don't know if they'll twitch that up at the end to make him a bad guy, which is usually what happens. His biggest thing is that he's really kind of pushed by jealousy, because Baron Mordo wants to be the Sorcerer Supreme. He wants to take the Ancient One's place whenever the Ancient One steps down or is, inevitably killed, which is normally what happens. Hopefully no spoiler alerts there, but the Ancient One usually dies. And then Doctor Strange assumes the mantle of Sorcerer Supreme. And he always has an issue with Doctor Strange because of the fact that Baron Mordo has been a member of these sorcerers for so long that he feels entitled to being able to be placed as the Sorcerer Supreme as soon as, he gets the chance to, while Doctor Strange is a complete and total outsider who literally spent zero time compared to him, working towards that goal, and he ends up getting the Sorcerer Supreme title, the Eye of Agamotto, and becomes the leader of the whole group. So Mordo really has very, very hard feelings about it, and it drives, which with most villains, it usually spawns from the fact that they don't like what's going on. They feel entitled to certain things, and that's exactly what Baron Mordo does. So I'm guessing, hopefully, that's what's going to happen in the movie as well. But we got teased with the picture of Baron Mordo from the movie, which would make sense. I mean, because we've got Doctor Strange the movie coming up in November, so that should technically be our next event. At least I would think it would be. It would be our next event, so we could get Baron Mordo in the game, and we could potentially get the Doctor Strange Marvel Now version in the game as well. And the next character that popped up on the wall itself is that of who Brother Voodoo is what they normally call him in the comics. But the one that we see on the wall itself is actually Dr. Voodoo, who this is Brother Voodoo after he takes up the mantle of Sorcerer Supreme. Once Doctor Strange isn't Sorcerer Supreme anymore, he picks up the mantle after that, and they change his name from Brother Voodoo to Doctor Voodoo. So I mean, there's some potential mystic characters there. Baron Mordo definitely would be a mystic character, unless they go with the route with kind of how they did Karnak and make him a skill. I don't know. I don't figure they'll do that though. I'd say Baron Mordo will definitely end up being mystic, but Doctor Voodoo, which is what we have pictured above, is definitely a mystic character. Obviously, really big into kind of that voodoo culture kind of thing. Dr. Voodoo isn't really like the biggest character in the world. He's definitely not a character that I think a lot of you guys are gonna relate to or know, for that matter. He's kind of obscure. He's kind of different. He didn't pick up the mantle of being the Sorcerer Supreme until like 2009, so he hasn't really had the mantle very well. I wouldn't say he hasn't had it very long. It's almost like 3 years shy of 10 years, but I mean, it's just one of those obscure characters that I don't think a lot of people would know, but he would definitely fit into the whole mystic scheme of things whenever they do the Doctor Strange story. So that's definitely going to be the next big thing that we see, I'd say, coming out after we get done with Pandemonium. Is going to be the Doctor Strange story leading into the Doctor Strange movie set up for November. And yeah, so it's going to be kind of cool. I don't really know what my take would honestly be on the characters coming into the game, and Baron Mordo and Dr. Voodoo. I don't really see any. It's not going to be as hype as Ghost Rider. It's definitely not going to be as hype as Ghost Rider, I don't think, because, like I said, it's just really obscure characters. Baron Mordo has always been kind of a second fiddle to Doctor Strange, so I mean, most people know who Doctor Strange is. But unless you're into the comics or you've watched the cartoons that they've done, the animated feature cartoons, you're really not going to know who Baron Mordo is. He's just a mainstay villain for Doctor Strange. But like I said, this is definitely the movie version of Baron Mordo. So I don't know exactly what he's going to do as far as that goes in the game. I don't know if he'll have an allegiance with Doctor Strange, or if he's going to end up being a villain. Like I said, it's a very good possibility that they could set him up to be the villain in the next movie by the end of the first Doctor Strange movie. And Dr. Voodoo, well, he's definitely going to have some kind of synergy bonus with Doctor Strange, probably a couple other of the mystic characters. So it's going to be kind of cool to see him in the game. I think he could be pretty cool to go up against some of the other characters that do incinerate, because I think that if we hold true to some of Dr. Voodoo's actual character traits, he is immune to fire. So he could be a fire immune character, and he could actually go up and combat some of these other characters like Red Hulk and Agent Venom, and I'm sure that Jean Grey is going to have it as well, because of the Phoenix Force being able to set people on fire, that there are incinerates. I don't know, I haven't really looked into her too much, but he could potentially combat incinerate with the fact that his character is actually naturally fire immune. But I think it's pretty cool that we've got these teasers for these two characters at New York Comic Con. I know everybody's really hype about Ghost Rider and Jean Grey as being the characters they get to play, but you know, these are just arts on the wall. That's pretty cool to me, because they don't normally add this stuff into the game files until we get patches. And I think since they know that a lot of people go into the game files and do teases to a lot of these characters, I think they've been holding off until they're really, really close to being able to release them to put them in the game files. So, pretty cool news coming out of New York Comic Con. But, alright guys, so that's going to be it for this episode. Hopefully you did enjoy it. If it's your first time watching the channel, please consider leaving a sub. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like on it. And as always guys, remember to like, share, comment, subscribe. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Later. 'Cause we scream.